Hello, thanks for stopping by. I'm Mr. Fide. And as always, I'm bringing you my book report that applies Margaret Singer's book, Cults in Our Midst, to Scientology. I am not a mental health professional, and what I have to offer is my own humble opinion, even though I'm pretty sure I'm right. This installment is going to be Chapter 4, and this chapter is called What's Wrong with Cults? So if you have been watching my last 5 or 6 segments and said, so what? This segment is for you. And just for a minute, I would like to offer 2 quick parts from the end of Chapter 3. The first one is producing new identity. According to Singer, the change process of brainwashing is overwhelming, and a new social identity takes over. And I want to illustrate this with something that has been bugging me for a long time. Even before I knew Tom Cruise was a Scientologist, when he would give an interview, I just thought he was boring. But when certain events happened, I started taking a closer look at him and Scientology. And I have to admit that some leading actors seem to be looking for someone else to be. A common question and debate between entertainers is, what do you do with your hands? And if you're trying to imitate a real-life character, the best thing to do is mimic his mannerisms. The next section is called Impermissible Experiments. The idea of offering a therapy as well as treatments are highly licensed and controlled by governments, not to mention the Nuremberg Code of Ethics states that these types of experiments cannot be performed without consent. Cults are damaging to individuals and families. You can see many videos concerning this connection by searching for them on YouTube. I also recommend that you search for videos on reconnection and Scientology. That seems to pull up a few hundred more. Cults use psychological and social persuasion tactics to recruit members. Singer recommends that these methods be studied so we can learn to countermeasure and learn to keep ourselves from being exploited by manipulative people and groups. Cults use wealth and power to curb criticism through legal action. Stu Wyatt was kept from protesting with laws that, when he looked them up, didn't seem to exist. These elusive laws that neither he nor I could find when trying to look them up resulted in an anti-harassment order against him that he believes is to keep him from continuing to speak out about the abuses of his local org in Plymouth. Numerous cease and desist letters have been sent to minors and to their parents, and it is believed they have been sent to intimidate minors into silence. It is unclear of how the law firm of Johnson, Pope, Boker, Ruppel, and Burns obtained the name of the registered owner of the vehicles that was reported to be near the protest of the Church of Scientology last February. Cults represent authoritarian encroachments in our society. This news article reports that Scientology ministers are training Zambian police officers. It also reports that zombie police showed their appreciation. What kind of government controls the land of Zambia, and what kind of threat could this mean to the zombie people? As recently as 2001, 11 political parties contested elections and alleged that serious voting irregularities occurred. This elected the current-day leader, Zombie President Mwanawasa, who demonstrated an authoritarian streak in early 2004 when he issued a deportation order to a Zambian resident who had published a satirical attack on the zombie president in a daily zombie newspaper. Generally, though, the zombie people view Mwanawasa's rule as a great improvement over the former zombie president, Chaluba. Being an American citizen, I know how a country can be divided with contested elections between just 2 parties that each reach nearly 50% of the vote. I would hate to imagine what it would be like if a government could be decided by little more than 9% of the electorate. The second question was, what effect could this have on the zombie people? Well, Singer discussed a group in Antelope, Oregon that moved in 3,500 homeless people to take part in local elections to change the name of the city from Antelope to Rajneeshpuram. This resulted in more problems than just having to buy new stationery when the 3,500 homeless were released on the local welfare system and other Oregon agencies. Cults can also affect land and property values when they receive tax-exempt status. It can increase the taxes and other expenses of the local community, particularly when the cult members work for the organization and its businesses for little or no pay. It is rumored that the city of Clearwater, Florida, a city that I believe houses the highest percentage of Scientologists in the United States, was chosen because it had the name Clear in its name. Many residents complain of problems in the local government, blaming the population of Scientologists on voting issues. Cults harm children and tear families apart. This clip from Australian television's Today Tonight shows children working for the Church of Scientology instead of going to school. And if you search for the words Scientology disconnection or reconnection, you can find hundreds of more videos about people being separated from their families by organized Scientology. Singer claims cults are violent, and it seems YouTube also has many videos of violent acts perpetrated by members of the group over the last few months. Cults engage in conspiracy and fraud. The Church of Scientology is responsible for the largest infiltration of the U.S. government in history, with up to 5,000 covert agents. However, most of the events cited in this series will be things that have either happened or have been uncovered this year. But while we are going back for a few years, on page 90, Singer does mention the Church of Scientology by name in 1992. They became the first and only church in Canada to go on trial for criminal charges for infiltrating the Ontario government. Questions are being raised and a much closer look is being taken at governments all over the world. Cults take away our freedom. The total commitment that is required to the group takes away the ability to make more solid relationships, even between two people who are both involved as a couple, as well as rob the group of a true feeling of democracy. They stifle personal relationships and divert people from their career and personal goals. Cults take away our possessions. Chap magazine reported earlier this year Priscilla Presley was given a patron award for her donation of a mere $50,000, while John Travolta and Kelly Preston each gave $1 million each. Tom Cruise is believed to have given $5 million over the last 4 years, while Christy Alley gave $5 million in the past year. And Nancy Cartwright, better known as Bart Simpson, donated 2 years' salary to organized Scientology, totaling $10 million. Many people say that this system of defining cults could be applied to anything, Singer claims. The air-breathing cult, the Ben & Jerry's ice cream cult, and more seriously, the Roman Catholic and Greek Orthodox religions. Singer claims although religions may have strict standards, they are not manipulative or leader-centered. Others go on to compare the U.S. military, and for those, Singer offered an ever-growing list of reasons that military organizations do not meet the criteria. She lists some examples. She mentions the U.S. Inspector General's practices to protect each member. Often there is nothing to protect people in cults. The military cannot be used for physical or psychological experiments without consent. Most recruits are involved on a voluntary basis and are not expected upon enlistment to continue for long periods of time. I will add that the C.o.S. contract is for 1 billion years, and job training can be applied to other fields. The answer to the problem of cults from Singer is to focus on the abuses and education. She felt sure several years ago that if people understood cults, more and more people would protest them. I hope all of you come back next time, where I will be starting part 2 of the book Cults in Our Midst, that deals with how cults work. I'm Mr. Fide.